Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Bachelor Nation News fans. The morning sun glowed softly over Malibu as Peg Munson pushed open the wooden doors of a cozy beachfront cafe, one she and Mel Owens had secretly visited during their most private moments on The Golden Bachelor, Season 2. But today, she wasn't meeting Mel, she was meeting the world. Peg had agreed to a live-streamed interview, her first public appearance since the finale aired 3 weeks ago. Since then, fans had spiraled into chaos. Are Peg and Mel still together? Had Mel run back to someone else? Was Peg avoiding the spotlight or protecting her heart? Peg slid into the corner booth, smoothing her vanilla-colored blazer and adjusting the delicate rose pendant Mel had given her during their last fantasy date. She wasn't sure why she'd worn it today. Maybe for courage, maybe for closure, or maybe because she still wasn't ready to let go. The cafe buzzed with quiet excitement as the cameras were set up. The interviewer, Leela Grant, leaned forward with a warm smile. "Peg," Leela began gently, "the world has been waiting. Where do things stand with you and Mel Owens today?" Peg took a deep breath. Her fingers brushed the silver rose pendant. 1,000 memories rushed in. The way Mel's eyes softened when she spoke. The way he held her hands like they were the last warm place in the world. And the way he whispered, "Peg, you're my calm in the storm." But reality? That was different. "Well," Peg began, her voice both steady and trembling, "Mel and I had a very emotional ending. But after the cameras stopped, life got complicated." The entire cafe froze. Even the baristas quietly paused mid-latte. Peg explained, "Mel and I did try, truly. After the finale, we spent a few weeks talking every day, sometimes for hours. But love doesn't end when the cameras stop rolling. It gets tested. And both of us were dealing with things we didn't share on the show." She paused, looking out toward the ocean. "Mel is someone who feels deeply, and sometimes when people feel deeply, they need space to understand their own heart." Leela leaned in. "Peg, did he walk away?" Peg shook her head softly. "No, we both stepped back." The cafe guests exchanged stunned whispers. "But," Peg said, her tone shifting, hopeful, mysterious, charged, "that's not the whole story." She lifted her phone and revealed a message on the screen, one from Mel, time-stamped this morning. "Mel Owens. Peg, can we talk today? I think we deserve one more real conversation." The room gasped. Peg smiled, a touch of nervous excitement brightening her eyes. "Mel reached out, after weeks of silence. He wants to meet. Today." "Peg, what does that mean? Are you getting back together?" Peg laughed softly. "I don't know, but I know this. I still care about him. And I think he still cares about me. Enough to reach out, not for the cameras, not for the show, just for us." Then she added something no fan expected. "I don't want a fairy tale ending. I want a real one. And whatever happens today will tell me if Mel and I still have a chapter left." Leela blinked. "So you're saying today could be the beginning or the end?" Peg nodded. "Yes, but either way, I'm ready." Just then, the cafe door opened, and a familiar figure stepped inside. Tall, silver-haired, wearing that same warm, nervous smile fans fell in love with. Mel Owens! The cafe fell silent. Peg's breath caught. Mel's eyes met hers like no time had passed at all. He took a few slow steps toward the booth, voice low, but full of emotion. "Peg, I didn't want to talk over the phone. I wanted to tell you face to face." Peg stood, heart pounding. "Tell me what, Mel?" The suspense in the room thickened. Mel's eyes shimmered, tired, tender, vulnerable. "That I'm still in love with you, and I don't want to step back anymore. A collective gasp rippled through the cafe. Peg's hand flew to her chest. Mel, why now? Mel reached out, his hand trembling around hers. Because today, I realized something. Life is too short to be scared. And you, Peg, you're the chapter I'm not ready to close. Peg held his gaze, the crowd waiting breathless. So, Mel whispered, can we try again? Starting today? Peg smiled, a smile that could melt an ocean. Mel Owens? Yes, let's start today. The cafe erupted in applause. Cameras clicked wildly. Fans online crashed the livestream chat. But Peg didn't hear any of it. She only heard Mel's heartbeat against hers as they hugged, strong, familiar, hopeful. And just like that, the Golden Bachelor's most shocking love story wasn't over. It was just beginning.
As the cafe
Today.
erupted in applause, Peg and Mel exchanged a look, soft, trembling, and far too intimate for the dozens of eyes glued to them. Peg leaned close and whispered, "Mel, we need to talk privately." He nodded immediately. "Anywhere, just say the word." They slipped out through the back patio where a narrow wooden stairway led down to the beach. The moment their feet touched the sand, the cheers and cameras faded behind them, replaced by the hush of waves rolling in. Mel stepped closer, hands deep in his pockets, voice low. "Peg, before you decide anything, there's something I need to tell you." Her heart tightened. "Mel, please don't say you're leaving again." He shook his head. "No, it's not that, but it might explain why I pulled away." Peg braced herself. The wind lifted strands of her hair as she watched him struggle to find the words. Finally, Mel exhaled. "After the finale, I panicked. I've lost people I loved before. My late wife years ago. That kind of grief leaves a scar you don't just shake off. When you chose me, Peg, I was happy. Happier than I've been in a long time. But I was also terrified." Peg's eyes softened. She reached for his hand. "Mel, I would never try to replace your past." "I know," he said quietly, "but I didn't want to lose you the same way." A tear slipped down Peg's cheek, not from sadness, but from recognition. She had felt that same fear too. "Mel," she whispered, "you don't have to face that alone anymore. I'm here. I've always been here." He pulled her into a gentle embrace, holding her like she was something fragile, but also something vital. But Peg wasn't done. She needed answers, real ones. She stepped back, wiping her cheek. "Mel, I have a question, and I need you to be honest." He nodded. "During the time we stepped back, was there someone else?" Mel's jaw tightened. Not defensive, but hurt she'd even imagine it. "No," he said firmly. "There was never anyone else. Peg, I couldn't even think about someone else when I was already losing sleep over losing you." Peg's breath hitched. I needed to hear that. Mel reached for her hand again. "I want us to work, Peg. I want something real, something that's ours. Not the producers, not the cameras, not the fans. Ours." For the first time that morning, Peg smiled the way she used to on the show. Light, hopeful, glowing. "I want that too," she said softly. "But if we're starting again, we need to go slow, and we need trust." "Then trust me now," Mel said, voice warm and steady. "I'm here. I'm choosing you. Today, tomorrow, every day you'll let me." Peg laughed through her tears. "Mel, you always know how to say the thing that ruins my mascara." Mel gently brushed a tear from her cheek. "Mascara or not, you're the most beautiful person I've ever walked beside." The moment was so intimate, so raw, so genuine. No cameras, no audience, just two hearts finally speaking the same language. They walked along the shoreline, fingers intertwined, as Peg leaned her head on Mel's shoulder. "Mel," she murmured. "Yes, Peg." "What do we tell the world?" Mel kissed the top of her head, thoughtful. "Whatever we want. But I think the truth is enough." Peg stopped walking, turning to face him fully. "The truth?" Then let's give it to them. Mel grinned. Together? Together. Peg took his phone, held it up, switched to selfie mode, and hit record. Mel wrapped around her, smiling warmly. Peg started, "Hi everyone, Peg here. And I guess you've noticed someone beside me." Mel waved. "Hi folks." Peg continued, her voice glowing with sincerity. "We wanted you to hear this from us. Not rumors, not speculation. Us. Mel and I had a rough patch. We took some time apart, but today we talked. Really talked." Mel added, "And we're giving this another chance. A real one." Peg finished with a smile that fans would replay 1,000 times. "So, yes, we're together, and we're excited for what comes next." She hit pause. Then Mel whispered, leaning close, "Peg, you have no idea how happy that makes me." She smirked. "Mel, you haven't even seen what comes next." His eyes widened with playful surprise. "Oh, and what's that?" Peg leaned forward and kissed him, soft, confident, breathtaking. And that moment, caught only by the ocean breeze and not by any camera, was the real beginning.
The last traces of Peg and Mel's kiss, and for a long moment, neither of them moved. It was the kind of kiss that settles something deeply buried, something fragile that finally feels safe. When they finally pulled apart, Mel held her face gently, as if making sure she was truly there. "Peg, this really feels like a new beginning." Peg smiled, brushing her thumb over his hand. "It does. It feels right." They walked back toward the cafe hand in hand, ready to share their news, and probably ready for 1,000 screams from fans. But just as they reached the top of the wooden steps, Peg's phone buzzed in her pocket. She glanced at the screen and froze. Mel noticed immediately. "Peg, what's wrong?" Her eyes widened. Her heart slammed against her ribs. It's someone I haven't heard from in a long time." The name glowing on her caller ID. Tom Munson, Peg's ex-husband. Mel's smile faded. "Do you want to answer it?" Peg hesitated. Her throat tightened, memories flickering. Years of love, years of hurt, years of healing. Finally, she whispered, "I need to." She stepped aside, answering the call with a trembling voice. "Tom?" His voice came through low, nervous, strangely emotional. "Peg, I saw the live stream. I saw you and Mel, and I think we should talk." Peg swallowed hard. "Tom, why now?" There was a long pause before Tom finally spoke. "Because I realized something. Something about us. And something about him." Mel couldn't hear the conversation, but he could read the tension on Peg's face. He moved closer, gently resting a hand on her back. Peg didn't pull away, but Tom's voice continued. "Peg, I want to see you. Today, please." Peg's eyes snapped up to Mel, who watched her with quiet understanding, but also with a flicker of fear. "Tom," she said softly but firmly, "my life is moving forward now. I don't know what you're hoping for." Tom inhaled sharply. "I'm hoping for 5 minutes. Just 5. Face to face. There are things I should have said long before today." Peg's stomach twisted. Part of her wanted to hang up and protect the fragile new beginning she'd just built with Mel. But another part, the part of her that values closure, honesty, and truth, knew she couldn't ignore a chapter unfinished. She exhaled slowly. "Okay, Tom. 5 minutes. But only 5. Mel's eyebrows lifted in surprise, but he didn't interrupt. Tom sounded relieved. "Thank you, Peg. I'm already driving to Malibu." Peg's breath hitched. "You're... what?" "I'll be there in 10 minutes. Before Peg could respond, the call ended. She lowered the phone, staring at the dark screen as the wind curled around her. Mel gently reached for her hand. "Peg, you don't owe him anything." She looked up, swallowing. "I know, but I owe myself closure." Mel nodded slowly, rubbing her hand with his thumb. "Then I'll be right here. I'm not going anywhere." Peg stepped closer, her voice soft. "Mel, thank you. Those words mean more than you know." Mel smiled, a little wistfully. "Well, if we're starting fresh, I can't hold on to old jealousy. Tom is your past. I want to be your future." Peg's heart softened.
She kissed his hand, an intimate, unexpected gesture. "You already are." But before Mel could smile, a sleek black car pulled into the cafe parking lot. The door opened, and out stepped Tom Munson. Tall, confident, dressed sharply in a navy shirt, and looking at Peg with eyes full of something complicated, regret, longing, and something else deeper. Mel's jaw tightened, but he stayed a step behind Peg as she inhaled, squared her shoulders, and walked forward. Tom stopped a few feet away, searching Peg's face like he was trying to remember every detail. "Peg, you look happy. Happier than I've seen you in a long time." She nodded cautiously. "I am." Tom swallowed, glancing briefly at Mel behind her. "And that's why I needed to see you. Because I need to set something right before it's too late." Peg's breath caught. "What are you talking about?" Tom stepped closer. "I came here to apologize. For everything. And to tell you something I should have said long before today." Mel stiffened, ready to intervene, but Peg lifted a hand, signaling she wanted to hear it. Tom's voice broke. "Peg, I never stopped loving you." The world froze. Peg inhaled sharply. Mel's eyes widened. Even the ocean seemed to quiet. Tom continued, voice cracking. "Peg, I came here to ask if there's even the smallest chance for us to try again." Peg's heart pounded, caught between past and present, between a love that shaped her and a love that was just beginning. Mel stepped forward at last, his voice steady but trembling with emotion. "Peg doesn't owe you her future." Tom met his gaze firmly. "And she doesn't owe you one either." Peg stood between the two men, her past and her future, breathless, overwhelmed, shaken to the core. "Both of you, stop," she whispered, but inside her heart, a storm was already forming.